Hey guys, come on in. Welcome to the Chunky Knit Craze. This is Real Life with the Chunky Chick who loves the chunky knit, and I'm Dr. C, that chunky chick. So listen, we're coming on right quick. I'm going to do a video. I'm not going to do a lot of talking, but I have a new camera stand that I want to try out to see if it shows better with me doing videos while I'm knitting. I'm not going to tell you it's a tutorial because I don't want to do a lot of talking. Just kind of want to test this out, but I do want you to see me building this blanket from the beginning to the end. Y'all give me a second. I'm tying my hair back so it's not in my way. Yep, and I use yarn to do that tie off. All right, so I do have the blinds behind me closed. So if you guys go, why are the blinds closed? It helps with the lighting anytime I am recording. So we're going to start the new blanket, and it's called Warm Grace. I've already named it. Looking at it, I just see warmth, and I think about God's grace to us. So this is going to be called Warm Grace right here, and these are the three colors that we're using. If you've been following me for any time, you know that I normally start with an idea, and then in the middle of it, inspiration hits and something different might happen. So I'm not telling you that we're going to stick with this. This is what we're starting with. We will let God decide how we move as I begin knitting. I'm going to use the herringbone pattern, and we're going to make this a 25 by 40. So one of our restoration size blankets. I invite you to go to www.thechunkyknitcraze.com to look at our other restoration blankets that we have. Restoration blankets are great for using as a lap blanket, prayer, reading time, silent time. If you just want to curl up on your couch or just have something comforting with you. That's about the size of this blanket. Not overly big and definitely not too small. I actually use a 25 by 40 when I'm going to work. My blanket goes with me everywhere I go if I'm going to a restaurant because I have low iron. I'm typically cold. So I keep something with me. Before, I didn't have anything. Now that I can chunky knit and create my own stuff, then I have something cute and always available. So let's get into Warm Grace and see what comes out of it. Okay, I'm going to adjust. I already like the way that looks. All right. Yes. All right. And I do, if you remember from videos, you see where I use ChatGPT to help me define what are some options that I could use for my color pattern scheme. I don't necessarily ask ChatGPT to tell me how many rows, even though Coach Joy, because that's the name of my chat, and yes, I named it, would like to tell me how many rows I should go and so forth. I put my music on, I listen to the Word of God, and I just kind of lean into my knitting and let the blanket flow, unless I'm really following a pattern. In this case, there's not a pattern, but here is what Coach Joy is suggesting for my color schemes. Okay, so I have that available. Also, if you're new to chunky knitting, I use the fuse method, but I also have my needle and thread in case I don't want to fuse, and I have my measuring tape and my scissors. And full transparency, for those who have been really following Chunky Knit Craze, you know that my scissors is normally leopard. I went to do work on my loom and cut with my leopard scissors or cheetah, whichever print that is, and some super glue got onto this part, and I got it glued shut. So right now I'm sitting in some acetone to see if I can save it. I've got my fluffer. I've got my cocoa butter, because yes, we're going to cocoa butter before we get started. And I've got my, y'all know what's called, dust thing. Y'all know. All right. If you're curious as to why do I cocoa butter, because I keep dry hands and it doesn't feel good across the yarn when my hands are dry. My fingers are dry. So I do cocoa butter my fingers before I get started. So let's get started on the slip knot. We're going to go 25 inches and we're going to let the base of the blanket be this khaki. I'll count along the way so I know exactly how many loops I get on my starter chain. So a slip knot is made exactly like a sailboat anchor or the breast cancer awareness simple. I leave about 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm not good at measurement. But basically this end I leave off, and then I will fold, and take the working yarn, go through the loop, and pull. Now, I'll do 3 fingers for my working yarn. If you look at my earlier videos, I would only do 2 because that's what I was comfortable with. Now that I've been chunky knitting for some time, I'm comfortable with the 3 fingers. So it'll be 3 fingers on the starter chain. It just helps with it not pulling, but even when I do 2, I don't have that pulling like I've heard some people say. All right, so now I'm just going to make my starter loop, and here we go with the loop, and then we got the working yarn. The working yarn is going to go in the middle of that loop, and then you pull up and create yourself another loop. And I do pull because I don't like gaps, okay? I don't like gaps. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pull up some more yarn so I can have a little bit of a give. That's 9, 10, 11. Don't pull too tight, Shavonna. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Y'all, let me fuss at Bishop for a second. Bishop, stop it. Bishop, no middle name Coakley. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Y'all should see how Bishop looking at me. 20, 21, 22, and 23. I'm going to pull that out just a little bit. I'm going to make 23 a little bit smaller than my other sides because I don't want my end to be too big. I want to form that nice little loop. We're going to measure because I'm looking for 25. We're at 24, so let's add a little bit more. So make that back bigger, 23, 24, and make it smaller. Go back, make this smaller, 24, and 25. I cannot tell you that because you're looking for 25 inches, you go 25 loops. It depends on your tension size. So like right now I'm at 26. I don't want 26. Let me pull out 1 and see what happens. And if I need to put it back in, I will. All right, I'm right at 25. Now, I just remembered I'm doing herringbone. So you know what? I am going to add 2 more. Let's make it bigger. I'm not doing regular. I'm doing the herringbone, guys. 26, 27. So let me add, because herringbone will shrink your blanket much faster than you think because it requires so much. It requires so much yarn for herringbone. All right, here we go. That's going to be it. I'm going to be at 28, but again, I'm doing the herringbone stitching. So it's going to shrink a little bit. This is 27. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 loops. Now I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to flip it over. And everywhere that you see this little hump, these little loops, I'm going to pull up a loop for our first row. And right now, this is just regular knitting. We're not starting the herringbone at all. So I'm pulling up right where, let me come up some. I'm pulling up right where you see this little loop. So this is the next one. So I'm pulling up. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm gonna do that all the way till we get to the end. So I'll meet you guys at the end. Let's go ahead and just count before we flip it back over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So we counted 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And we have 26 loops. Sometimes that happens. It's okay because we're doing herringbone. It's okay. Some people say for herringbone, you have to have an even. I've heard some say you need an odd. I don't care if I do even or odd for herringbone. It always looks right. So I'm okay with the 26. I want to show you how that looks. So that's the starter chain here. Then that's that first row with regular knitting. Now I'm going to turn my working yarn or my starter chain back over. And I'm just going to take my finger and push down to make sure everything is snugged in there. Because sometimes when I'm knitting backwards, it's not as snug as I want it to be, and I always want to check it before I really get into the meat of this. If you are struggling with the starter chain, you're not alone. I think it might have taken me about 100 tries across 5 blankets. Notice I said 100 across 5 blankets. Yeah, that's how many times I had to take, I'm certain, not exaggerating, I had to take the starter chain out and start all over. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. All right, now I'm going to show you again what it looks like after tightening it up with that one finger. You just want it to be nice and snug, okay? Nice and snug. All right, I'm going to do one more row of regular knit before I actually start with my herringbone. And I am going to skip this first loop because there's a particular look I'm going for. I'm going to pull up about 3 for the second row because with herringbone, you need to give yourself some room. So if you look at that loop, it's bigger. You want to give yourself some room. 3, and that's a tight 3. You can make it bigger. You want to give yourself some room to actually do the twist, okay? So pulling it up, I'll meet you guys in the end. All right, we are at the end. We are at the end, and I'm now ready to start that herringbone effect. Just grabbing some yarn because once I get started, I like to keep it flowing. All right. So now we have 2 rows. We have our starter chain, and then we have our 2 rows of regular knit, and it's time for us to begin the herringbone. I'm going to show you really quick how that's done, and then I'm going to grow quiet until I'm ready for a color change. All right. So we're at the end. I'm going to use the drop stitch method, meaning I'm not going to knit this first loop. I'm going to put it to the side, and I'm going to go to the second. When I get to the second stitch, I'm going to knit in the direction in which I am knitting, or I'm going to twist in the direction in which I'm knitting. So I'm knitting to my left, so I'm going to twist to my left, okay? In this video, this is my right arm right here, my right hand. I'm going to the left, so I'm going to turn this to the left. So I'm turning it to the left, putting my pinchers in. Here is the working yarn. the pinchers will grab the working yarn and pull it through that hole to create another loop. So again, I'm going to twist to my left, take my pinchers and grab the working yarn. My pinchers will pull it through the loop and I'll pull up another loop. So I want to make sure that my loops are about the same. You see it. I want to make sure my loops are about the same before I get going. Okay? One more time. I'm going to twist to my left, take my pinchers, grab that working yarn, and pull up another loop. So now we have our 3 loops. And you want to make it as consistent as possible. And you just keep following that method until you get to your desired length, your row length. All right, I'm going to do this. For 2 rows, and then I'm going to do a color change. Let me grow quiet. If you can see, I almost messed up, guys. I almost twisted a herringbone for this end stitch. The end stitch will be a regular knit. It'll be a regular knit. All right, so that was row 1 with the herringbone. We're going to go back 1 more row, and then we're going to do a color change. The same way I skipped this one, dropped it on the other end, then we're going to drop it on this end. So I'm going to this one, and I'll twist. Now that I'm going back to my right, I will twist it to my right and use that same method, okay? So let me grow quiet, and I'll see you guys in the end. All right, here we go. So now I've got 2 rows of regular knit, 2 rows of the herringbone for my foundation. And we're going to go ahead and show you. I'll show it to you. I won't need to do regular knitting throughout, because with herringbone, even when you do a change of color, it works out fine. You know, I know some people will say do 1 row of regular knit. For herringbone, I don't have to. Now, I'm not telling you that for all of the others. The others, I do have to do a regular row of knit. But for herringbone, I have found that that's not necessary. So there we go. So now it's time for a color change. I want to show you. So I went all the way to the end, but because I'm doing a color change, I'm actually going to pull this out, and then I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut it as close as I possibly can get it. I'm going to clean off the end so it's ready when I need it again. I really want my scissors to survive. If not, I'll have to go to Hobby Lobby and get a replacement. These are okay, but they're not as sharp as the ones that I have. We're going to go with the green, this mossy pine. All right, so now we're going to add this green, and I'm going to fold back the yarn until I can feel like this little plastic piece that's in here. And you want to fold back and get any extra yarn pieces that might fall off before you light the fire. I prefer the sewing method than using the fire, but because I'm doing some color changes up in here, look at this. This is why you want to take your time. You see how it's shredding? You want to take your time, because the last thing you want to do is put fire in pieces that are not good. So you feel your yarn. All right. Now I'm going to unplug even this one so I can have some length. I'm going to peel back the same way I did the mossy pine. That's pretty tight there, so we're good. And now I'm going to light. I'm going to do a color change. You can go back and watch my videos on how to do a color change and how I palm roll, pinch, and palm roll. I won't do that here. Again, the video can be a little bit long when you're doing all those things within a video. So go back to my YouTube page where I show you how to fuse. There's a part 1 and a part 2 along with that palm roll that you see me doing here. And I'm rolling it because I want to avoid like those pointy pieces that you could sometimes get when you're using the fuse method. All right, that feels good. Instead, I'm going to make like a little oval roll. All right, let me twist this a few because it feels a little loose. Pull up. And now my color change has occurred. And so now I'm going to continue doing the herringbone knitting where I'm twisting and moving. So twisting in the direction in which I'm knitting. And I'll show you the front part after I've done a couple of rows. All right, guys, take a look. Take a look. Let's do a few more rows so you can really see it. All right, let's take a look at this beauty. Take a look at this beauty. So we have the khaki, and then we've got this mossy pine green, and look at that herringbone. All right, so I'm going to continue to add the green, and I'll come back on when it's time for a color change, and so you can see what it looks like to add this this red color. Look, let me see. The exact color for this red is Eternal Bliss Cranberry, and it's at Hobby Lobby. And I have all the directions below for you in case you want to copy it. All right, so I'll be back when it's time for a color change. All right, guys, come on back in. So we are actually ready for a color change, and I want to make sure that you see it. So let me show you what that mossy pine looks like. And this is 7 inches of the mossy pine, and then you see that khaki. So this is absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to do the color change. So I'm going to once again show you how to do that. So hold on. All right, let's turn that here. So we are at the mossy pine, and I've not knitted this end piece because that's where our new color is going to go. And I'm going to go ahead and cut. Go ahead and cut as close as I can get this. And I'm telling you now, this yarn, I'm going to cut it a little bit more because it doesn't look like this yarn is going to act right once I cut it. So let's see, I'm going to pull. Remember, you're going to pull what you need to pull to make sure it's as clean as it possibly needs to be, right? All right, it tricked me. It got me. Now I'm going to pull it out so I can have some room when I'm fusing that yarn. I'm going to peel back until I get to that plastic piece. Now I'm going to take my new color, which is this cranberry, and I'm going to peel back as well. I've already cleaned this one, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to take my lighter, and I'm going to light right where I peeled back because, again, it's that plastic piece we want. And then I'm going to push it together. I'm going to pinch. And then I'm going to palm roll. Hey, Nicholas. Nicholas, I'm about to go on TikTok Live. Yeah. I'm finishing this part of the video right quick and show them the color change. And then I'll go TikTok Live. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to do it. All right, and palm roll it. Remember, you can go back to that YouTube video. That's a beautiful roll right there. Go back to the YouTube video, part 1, part 2, on how to fuse. And if the fire scares you, then don't worry. Again, there's a sewing video on there. And so now we're going to twist again in the direction in which we're knitting. And now I'm going to add that color. So let me adjust this one more time. Pull this here, and we're going to do one row of regular knit right at the color change, okay? Right at the color change. So just that regular row of regular knit where you're just pulling out the loop. You're not twisting or doing anything like that. Grow quiet until I get to the end. All right, so we have that one row. We have that one row of regular knit. Now I'm going to do a few rows of the herringbone, and then I will show you the back of the blanket. So again, with herringbone, you twist in the direction in which you're knitting, and it's as simple as that. And I'm going to make this at least 3 when I pull the loops up. And I'm going to grow quiet so we can get there and it doesn't take as long. So grow quiet with me. All right, let's take a look. Take a look, and I want you to know, even with one row of that cranberry, regular knit, I see the dash line even better. So for those who like to say you don't see it, I still see it. Take a look. Take a look. So it's your choice. All right, I'm going to finish this up. You've seen where we've done the color change and where I've added the cranberry, and here's how it's looking with that herringbone stitching. Now we're going to add more 7 rows or 7 inches of the cranberry. Then we'll come with 4 inches of taupe, and we'll repeat this pattern again to get to our 40 inches. All right, I will see you all. All right, guys. I'm coming back on, and I want to tell you, I have had the adventure of my life. So first of all, once I paused that video, I went to TikTok Live to finish off, or to finish the blanket, and I completed the blanket on TikTok Live, everything except for the border. We're going to do the border together, but I want to show you what the final product looks like without the border. And I'm looking at the analysis. I had over 991 views while I was doing the TikTok Live. Had about 15 comments, and I gained followers from that TikTok Live. And I got followers on Instagram. They went over. But take a look at the final product, guys. And this is without the borders. And take a look here at our sides. Y'all, I'm debating if I want to cover up the sides. Look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know. Y'all. And here's the back. Here's the back. And you could just see this beautiful herringbone, okay? Like just throughout on this blanket. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is a 25 by 40 without the borders. And it understood the assignment. Y'all, look, do we really cover this up? Here's what I'll do. I'm going to start with the starter chain side, and then we'll make a decision, okay? So come with me as I want to add this rich cranberry. That's what I'm thinking about for the border. So come with me. Let me adjust the camera for you guys so you can see. And I'm going to start here. and we'll make a decision. All right, I'm going to grow quiet. And while I'm working on the border, I'll make a decision what I want to do, okay? So I'll tell you now, if I feel like I can get away with just putting a burgundy up top and a burgundy to the bottom, then that's what we'll do. But if it looks a little bit odd, then we're going to add the borders going all around. All right, guys, take a look. So here is the cranberry here. And I think I like it. So we're just going to do cranberry here, and we'll do cranberry to the bottom, and we'll keep this open up. All right. So I will show you guys the finished product in the end. Thank you so much for joining me on this project. It was absolute fun, and I hope you have enjoyed it too. So again, thank you so much for joining me. This is Real Life with the Chunky Chick who loves the chunky knit, and you guys joined me on the creation of Warm Grace. I will see this that is placed online at www.thechunkyknitcraze.com. Make sure you go check it out. This one will be priced is a 25 by 40 restoration blanket. So it will be priced at $100. Okay, so $100 is the price for our restoration blankets. Go check it out.